Hello, Holistic Chamber of Commerce family. Welcome to today's Meet a Member segment. Oh, Member Spotlight. Sorry, we changed the name. Member Spotlight segment with Dina Saalisi. And I'm so excited today because we're going to be talking about flower therapy. I think this is the first time we've talked about this subject here on a Member Spotlight. So, real quick before we begin, I just want to introduce Dina. She's a holistic healer, author, and educator who guides others in creating optimal well-being of mind, body, and spirit. Her certifications include National Board Health and Wellness Coach, Bach Foundation registered practitioner, and certified hypnotherapist. She sees clients for flower therapy and health coaching, teaches in classes and workshops on personal empowerment, and writes books about spiritual development. So, welcome, Dina.
Hi, Laura. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So let's start off. I mean, a lot of people have heard of flower essences, but in case someone is unfamiliar, can you just briefly talk about what it is?
Of course. So, flower therapy is a holistic system of healthcare developed by a British physician in 1930, Dr. Edward Bach, or if you live in the UK, they pronounce his name Batch, and it is an English system, but it can go either way. And it is a system of using the energy of 38 select flowers. And we take these essences internally. So it's similar to homeopathy in that it uses the subtle energy of the plant to produce emotional balance. So when we talk about the different 38 flowers, what we're really reflecting on is 38 different emotional challenges. And as we're all human beings who live on planet Earth, we've all experienced these different emotional challenges at one time or another in our lives. So what I really love about this system is the relevancy and also the deeper spiritual properties and deeper self-awareness that it helps us to unveil, let's say. And being a holistic healer and a health coach, I see clients, I talk to women, mostly people all day long, and people come to us because they're suffering, right? And so I know there's a lot of members in the chamber who have these amazing self-care systems that they offer to people. And what I guess what I my focus is and my job is to help other people to discover this spiritual energy that they can use from flowers to not only develop deeper self-awareness within themselves, but to help other people when they're working with them to uncover emotional blocks.
What is the difference between what you're talking about here with this
Mhm.
flower essence and like essential oils?
Yes. So essential oils use the physical properties of a flower to create the scent, right? And as everything is created of energy, that works with the energy of scent. And so that sort of energy does help to balance us in different ways. And I actually have taught a number of people who work with essential oils how to use flower essences because what they noticed was they were using essential oils with clients. And even though they were getting some good results, sometimes they weren't getting to the deeper emotional issues that create blocks and resistance in clients. So I would say the greater benefit of flower essences or flower remedies is that, like homeopathy, we can go and really work on the challenges, the emotional challenges that are at the core of our suffering in order to transform them. And I mean, honestly, I began doing coaching about 7 years ago. And I right away I added flower essences into my coaching sessions. So I might meet with a client for an hour and we do all of the great typical coaching conversation, the positive psychology and all that. And then in about the last 10 minutes, I'll make a note of different flowers that I think will help them. And I'll kind of present that to them in the last 10 minutes of the session. And then I'll create a combination formula. I'll give it to them. They'll go home, they'll use it for about 3 to 4 weeks, and then they'll come back for their next session. And what I began noticing was I was having better results when I gave clients the flower formula than when I didn't. And I feel like it's simply because, well, there's two things. The first thing is the flower remedies really ask us to connect with what it is we're feeling. And as all of us have had the experience of working with a client, and sometimes a client comes to us, they know they're suffering, but they don't really know why or what it is that they're feeling at the deeper inner level. So in this way, when we start opening up the dialogue about, well, maybe you want to lose weight and you're not really being successful, and maybe some of it is like we need to have better eating habits or better exercise habits, but really what really holds us back, right? So for a number of years I taught nutrition professionals how to coach. And, once we started changing the conversation from creating a beautiful diet and giving it to their client to helping the client to discover what it is that holds them back from following the diet, then people were just having better results. So that's the first thing, is it helps us to create deeper self-awareness. And then if you're a holistic healthcare provider and you're not already doing some sort of, inner dialogue with yourself and really kind of reflecting on what it is that holds you back as a provider, then you can only go so far. So this is the system that I landed on that I think is so universally beautiful, because flowers are everywhere. And I don't know anybody who doesn't love them. But then to just relate different flowers to different emotional challenges and be able to offer them this light-filled energy for transformation has been mind-blowing for so many people that I introduced this to.
Hmm. So it sounds like you work both as a practitioner with individual clients, but you also wanted to come on to your member spotlight segment today, talking about like how like a practitioner can
Yeah.
add this to their current practice for better outcomes.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about like maybe some specific
Mhm.
issues that people have come to you with, or that you would recommend like for a practitioner to implement this. So if we get down to like specifics, so people
Mhm.
hear, oh,
Yeah.
I serve people that have this issue.
Right.
I mean, you talked about weight loss, but what are some of the others
Sure.
that you see?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, so there's one combination remedy in the box system, and it's called Rescue Remedy. And I think, most holistic people know what this is. It's a pre-made formula that's sold in all natural apothecaries and health food stores. And so that is really a great remedy to begin with, because it's already got 5 flowers in it. And it is for any intense emotions, past trauma, any time that, say, we're facing a difficult challenge or an emotional challenge and we really don't know where to begin. Sometimes the client can be locked up, sometimes they can be very anxious. And, it works really great with people who've never used flower remedies before. So even like, I know we have like a lot of dentists and chiropractors and stuff in the holistic chamber. I mean, if they began, and I know a lot of them already do, but if they carried this one formula and started people out on it when they have extreme fear, like really great for dental emergencies, right? Like a lot of people are afraid of the dentist. So what this formula Rescue Remedy does is it helps to bring you back into your body when you have extreme fear, terror, trauma, and it kind of just brings everything back to center so that then we can know what we need to heal or to move forward or to go to that dental appointment. That's a really great one. And then, having said that, I do work a lot with trauma, specifically childhood abuse trauma. And the flower that I recommend for that is called Star of Bethlehem. And it's known as the trauma flower because it works to unblock trauma, whether the trauma occurred yesterday or 20 years ago. So I've had successful results with this, for people who come to me. And sometimes I know right away that they're in a blocked state when they kind of have a monotone voice, or they're not able to talk about their feelings. There's kind of like a shackling of the soul, we could call it. And so Star of Bethlehem really helps to open up this deeper layer. And the thing I love is that it's not that once the layer opens that the trauma is going to come rushing in and you're not going to know what to do with it. The whole essence of flower therapy is that it's supportive and nourishing. So what I've noticed is it helps people to be able to, even maybe for the first time in their lives, take on the work of dealing with this trauma and being able to catalyze new awareness and growth beyond.
Hmm. Interesting. I actually have a bottle of Rescue Remedy. I think I give it.
Mhm.
I think I got it because I have a high anxiety cat.
Yeah,
So I was giving it.
animals.
Yeah, so I was giving it to my little anxiety ridden girl so that she would go in the litter box like she's
Yes.
supposed to. Um, so yeah, I'm like, oh, I have that
Mhm.
in my house.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point that flower therapy is excellent to use on animals. It's excellent to use on small children. Um, Rescue Remedy, I keep it on hand. I use it for my animals all the time. Like if we go on a trip with them, because they're very sensitive to energy, right? So traveling might be very disruptive. Like you're saying, if you want them to go in the litter box, if they're kind of exhibiting these strange behaviors, just 4 little drops of Rescue Remedy in their water, and that always seems to put them right. So thanks for bringing that up. Animals are a great friend for us.
Yes, yes, they are. So if someone like if a practitioner is listening to this and they're like, oh, I
Yeah.
want to add this to my practice, is
Mhm.
this something that they need more like education in, meaning like you have a program or something to help teach them about
Mhm.
this? Like how would someone get started if they were
Yeah.
interested?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So, yes, I do teach classes and workshops on how to use flower therapy, and you can go to my website for that. I have a monthly flower circle that meets once a month, and it meets for 2 hours, and we talk about specific flower remedies to help with certain emotional challenges. I'm also designing a package right now where you can purchase a kit from me at a discounted price, and then you get 3 personal one-on-one sessions with me, and I'll help you to learn that way. I also have a card deck out called Listening to Flowers, which I created. And I'm just going to hold these beautiful cards up because they have these amazing drawings of each of the flowers. And then the back side has a 3-line positive affirmation that I developed for each flower. And I began giving the affirmations to clients to help them ground more into what each flower was providing them with. So, if somebody knows nothing at all about flower therapy, this is a great starting point. Also, later on this year, my book, The Art of Flower Therapy, will be published in the fall. And that is a comprehensive guide to how to use the flowers for emotional healing. So there's lots of resources out there. And then also the Bach Center in the UK also provides learning. I think some of it's distance and some of it happens all over the world, really. There's different educators.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've worked with so many people. And the greatest thing is that when I meet with clients, my goal is to turn a client into a student, that I don't want the reliance to be solely on me. I want people to learn the system for themselves. And you know what? My best students started out as clients. And when they show up and they tell me, now I'm ready to learn the system, I mean, that to me just speaks so much about how much they've grown and what they're really ready to take responsibility with for themselves. And then the growth just keeps expanding from there.
Oh, yeah, the way that you have it set up sounds wonderful because it doesn't matter if you are someone who's looking, to learn more for yourself and use it for your own healing and wellness, or if you're experienced and you're like, I've heard of this and I buy into it, but I
Yeah.
need to know more so that I can support my clients with it. It sounds like the way you have it set up, it caters really, um, to both types of individuals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I can tell how passionate you are about your flowers. I mean, I think it's awesome. I love like card decks and tarot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, how did you get into this originally? I mean, was it just like, oh, let me
Yeah.
try this? Or
Mm.
I'm just so curious how you really got started with this passionate, flower therapy
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, well, I was about 19 years old and I found Dr. Bach's book, Heal Thyself, in a bookshop in Greenwich Village, New York. And I was right away, I was enchanted. I was just like, oh, really? You could use the energy of flowers to heal. And his work is so clear. Like he was a doctor, he was a scientist, and he was also a naturist, right? So he just really believed in the healing power of nature. So I did self study for decades until about 8 years ago. I did the official Bach course and I started doing it more professionally. But it's just been amazing to me. And it really has opened up my eyes to nature as the one universal source that nourishes every living being on the planet. And, when we talk about this, when we reflect on this, it might seem obvious, like, yeah, of course, nature, it's great. It makes me feel better. But I feel like that we've really, as humans in our materialistic era that we're in, we've become disconnected from this reality. And so for me, part of my passion is making people aware of this energy that's there, and it's accessible and it's powerful and it's real. It's real. I mean, not only do we feel better when we're out in nature, but if we use flower remedies, everybody whom I've ever worked with, and I've worked with people who've never even heard of flower essences before, and they're like, okay, I'm ready to learn. And their minds are just changed because it is really this powerful energy that is part of the human condition, part of our experience on Earth.
Well, your passion and energy is catching because you have a great way about you. So I'm really, excited to hear what you're doing and how
Mm.
you are really, trying to get the word out there about the healing powers of flower essence. So before we have to sign off here, how can someone connect with you if they want more information or they want to chat? Do you schedule a chat with people? What is your process?
Yes, they can connect with me on my website, dinasaalisi.com, and they can request a complimentary 15-minute phone call, and I can answer questions and talk to anybody about what they need. I also teach classes and workshops. I have my very first in-person workshop since before COVID is on March 18th in the Napa Valley, and it's going to be a half day. It's going to be amazing, just a flower healing and sound healing. And I encourage anyone who's near the Napa Valley to take advantage of this. And yeah, anywhere books are sold, you can find my work. And I do look forward to anybody who has any questions reaching out. I'm always available.
All right, I just put the information here in all of the chats. Wow, Napa Valley people are probably like, oh, I can learn about flowers. Is there wine
Yeah.
too? Because that's what you do in Napa Valley. You drink
Oh, and it's the
wine.
perfect time of year with the mustard blooming. It's really spectacular. Yeah.
It is. It's a beautiful area. Well, that sounds fun. If I was in California, I'd like be super excited to
Thank
get
you.
in there. All right. Is there any last little nugget of wisdom you would like to tell our viewers here before we say goodbye?
Sure. Well, now with springtime on the horizon, right, on the 21st, we enter the spring equinox. So I encourage everyone more than ever to go out, touch the flowers, be with them, notice them, and listen to the flowers. Listen to what is calling to be healed within you, and know that you are supported and held in this divine source.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much for Dina for being on here today and sharing your flower wisdom with us.
Thank you, Laura.
Have a great rest of your day, everybody.